Hey guys, Too Legit City here. Today we're going to be talking about a cool Steam Vent Tamer, and the way we're going to tame this is we're going to use the extra water from our bathrooms. So over here, we have a water sieve that's connected to a closed loop bathroom setup. A lot of the times your reservoirs are going to fill up, and with this extra water that we get from the water sieve, what we're going to do with it is we're going to run this bathroom water as a way to cool down the cool steam vent, and we'll show you how today. Of course, we're using a simple setup with just dropping off the pee water via chute, and how we're using this is we're attaching some automation to this, and we have a temp shift plate. So the thing with the cool steam vent is that you're going to need to condense the steam into water if you use a insulated tile setup like this so that the heat doesn't leak out. If you guys do use a regular tile setup, it will automatically condense into water at the cost of heating up your map. So if you don't want that to happen, you might want to look into a cool Steam Vent Tamer. And for the most part, using the bathroom water, the extra bathroom water, guarantees that the steam has basically doesn't need a separate water system to add in. All you need is a little bit of water, and then you would temp shift plate the steam to condense it down to regular water. For the most part, we have it above 90 degrees. If it's above 90 degrees, you can see that this is disabled. We have a little bit of a visual bug, but it's disabled right now, not releasing any of the water. So this would cool down the temperature of the water over here. And while the temperature of this water is below 90, we're not going to release any more. The bathroom water, as you can see, is around 30 degrees. That's going to be around the temperature of your duplicants. And we basically fill this up and use the water inside as a way of condensing the steam, because all we have to do is cool down the steam to below 100, as steam becomes water once it's below 100 degrees. Now, by having water at the bottom, we get to use the liquid that we condense to continue to cool the new liquid that spawns, and we do so with the temp shift plate, because the effective area radius of this temp shift plate is those 9 tiles. That means that all the gases in those tiles will immediately condense into steam. Now, you could see that it's a vacuum right here, and that's because the water's dripping the moment it gets close. The steam basically automatically condenses into water, and it drips into our water system right here. Now, we also add in a hydro sensor right here, and we'll show you the automation in a little bit. This is what controls the liquid pump. The liquid pump can easily just pump up all the water, so we need to keep a little bit of water here so that the new steam that spawns has thermal energy to cool down with, which we're maintaining with that. And by having that around 90 degrees and having the volume be above, or around 500 kilograms, it means that the 4 kilograms of steam that comes out will condense as soon as possible. Now, the automation overlay is as shown. We're choosing this sensor to detect the hydro, and then this sensor to detect the temperature of the liquid right here. Now, one thing I also have attached to this is a small vacuum room, so that when we pump up the hot liquid, it goes into our reservoir. This reservoir, of course, feeds into our electrolyzers, but that's going to be what you're going to want to do with the hot water. If not that, you can do whatever you want with the hot water. But by having a reservoir inside of a vacuum like this, we actually have a chance of, well, not a chance, we actually have a way of storing the water. And because it's around 90 degrees, it's going to break your reservoir. Let me show you guys, if we were to not have that connected, what would happen if we were to pump up the water and have it inside the reservoir. A lot of you might be thinking that it would break, but that is actually not the case. Now over here, you can see that the water's going up. The temperature of the water is around 90 degrees. And the properties of the building is not heating up. That's because the building does not heat up unless there is a ambient environment, meaning a gas, a liquid it's submerged in. And if you're in a vacuum, the contents of the reservoir never touch the building, meaning that you could store whatever temperature of the liquids you want to store. And that actually means that you don't need to make this out of steel, you don't need to make this out of gold, As long as they're in a vacuum, the liquids are going to be stored, moved in, and moved out at no cost. So it's a pretty good trick, and we're using this trick to store the hot water from the cool steam vent. But of course, guys, this has been a way of using the toilet water that you've accumulated from your closed loop bathroom cycle to cool down the cool steam vent so that you could use this as a water source. Of course, guys, if you guys have any questions about the build, leave a comment down below. But of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, guys.